I gotta ask Michelle, are we live on Zoom now?
We are now.
Okay,
Wow.
so now I can begin.
We're the sales team. I can be anniversary.
Oh, and that'll be Jack. Hello, Jack. So I have 2:02 on July, August 3rd, 2021. I'm calling the Cemetery Commission meeting to order. First off, I'd like to start off with a review and accept the minutes of our May 19th meeting, 2021. You all have a copy here.
Oh, crap. Sorry. This is July. Yes, that's right.
No, that's correct.
July 23rd.
July 23rd.
Oh.
No, that's 2020. Did I?
5/19, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
this is correct. This is correct. The date's wrong.
I think that's-
The date is wrong, but the minutes are correct. I believe.
Is it both field?
So.
No,
Did we not approve May 19th minutes before on July 23rd?
we did.
So maybe the
But-
minutes are for
The minutes should be for
July 23rd.
May 19, 2021.
I can go get them.
That, maybe,
I don't remember. I'll look.
I mean, May 19th was our last
And
meeting.
it was here.
No, we
That's
had July
correct.
23rd.
Yeah.
didn't we?
No, May 19th, and we had it here.
Oh,
And both field was before that.
So,
Because Robert's been gone for a while.
Both,
so
Yeah.
let's go back to the review and exception of the minutes. I'll make a May 19th, make a motion to delay, just,
I second.
okay, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, our special guest today is John Barrett from the Adams Fire District. John wants to talk to us, just to give us an informational update on if and when we replace the water lines in Bellevue Cemetery. So John, with that said.
Absolutely. So the present setup now is connected off of a really old 12-inch main that used to feed Adams from the opposite way. It's a really old main. And in fact, the cemetery is the only thing still connected on this main. Hence, you see all the, what we would call hot boxes and the meters for every connection. So you guys have like 3-4 meters, and 3 or 4 backflow prevention devices that are required by the state, that, these things cost a lot of money to maintain. So, and it seems that it is evident that these systems that you have in there now, they're all galvanized lines. These things rot from the inside out. They fail every year. I think we've had every year this. Yeah, there's been breaks up there. Not only that, but these things all are rusting on the inside. They're plugging up all your fixtures. It's just, it's a problem that I don't think is going to get any better with age. And it's just a lot to maintain, the backflow prevention devices, the kits. We try our best to repair them, and you guys buy the kits, but these kits are a couple $100 times however many devices you got. I thought it would be prudent just to maybe get a plan together to replace them that would be easier to maintain. So my thought process would have been, you've already got a water line going into the garage. And then maybe, since you've already got a water line going into the garage, that you actually already have the meter. I have the backflow prevention device, not to that extent. But if you was to hook using PEX, because the only other thing you can use is copper, which would be really expensive. So, it's already metered, so it's not going to be an issue to use PEX, right, underground. And then also if you utilize the water line going into the garage, you can hook up the devices in the garage, so you could actually flush all them out and put antifreeze, RV antifreeze, whatever you wanted to do without ever even leaving the garage. Instead of going to 3-4 different locations like they do now. You would also have one backflow preventer as opposed to 3 or 4 backflow preventers. It also would be inside instead of outside, so it's kind of a win-win there. You know, PEX is pretty cheap. It, I ran it all through Fish Pond, took me about maybe 2 weeks to do, you know, run a 1-inch line PEX up, and then every liter going off of that, you can run, you know, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, whatever you want to run, however many spigots you want. Easiest way to probably do it would be to, what I did was rented a Ditch Witch, digs a small trench. You ain't gotta get a backhoe up there, right? This thing, drive behinds, just dig a 2-3 inch trench or a foot deep. And that's all you really need.
You gotta go through, you gotta check every road.
You have to do your road crossings, but you're talking, you know, it's not, you know, you're gonna have to do your road crossings. But it's not, you ain't putting a huge water line in here. You're only talking, you know, a trench that goes across the road, you know, a couple inches wide.
Yeah, how far down should you go?
You know,
On the grass.
well, the road, you're gonna be protecting the water line because of that, but you know, I mean, you know, you'd wanna go a foot and a half down, keep the water lines down. And then, you know, essentially you could really replace it with almost all plastic, you know?
Yeah.
Because the system up there is definitely gonna need to be replaced at some point, you know? So I was talking to Strock, you know, yesterday, maybe even, you know, there's leaks, I think there's a leak up there now.
That's,
You know,
one side doesn't work.
right, so, you know, if you had a couple guys up there to do it, it wouldn't take a long time, but it is a lot of work, you know?
If you're gonna run that under the road, you're gonna run that through a PVC pipe, I hope.
It's not for us to run, you know, I mean, it would be for the cemetery or
You gotta run that.
And it's a standard
whoever,
or something.
whoever does
I'm
it.
just worried about the weight.
I would put a PVC pipe,
Yeah,
run that through a PVC pipe, the width of the road, before you do it.
yeah, you could line it, you know, and then put tracer tape in there and then, you know, write a map so that you know, because even the map, there wasn't even a map there originally, and then we kind of traced it all out and mapped it, you know?
Okay,
That would be the only thing, and then maybe putting a couple isolation valves in, you know, I mean, it's gonna take some work, but the system that's up there now, I don't think it's gonna last
okay.
more than a couple of
Does it
years.
have to be?
Nope.
Okay.
No,
We can do a little at a time, right? Like leave on what's working, then
Yeah.
go, and then we can cut it down.
I think that's what you should do.
Yeah.
You can run, you know, like he said, if you guys start from the garage, you know, and run that, and that's a good thing too, because now you're utilizing more water from the garage, so it's gonna be better for everybody. You know, and then as time allows, you're not, you know, you can leave the other systems active while you're running the new systems and then take them offline as the new ones come online. So you could piecemeal it.
Yeah.
You know, as you guys move forward.
So I know you and I had pretty much this
Yes.
thought. Could the water district give us an estimate of cost on that, or should we reach out to
You know, I mean,
an engineer?
you would have, I don't think you need an engineer.
Okay.
Pretty much, you know, what you would wanna do, you can almost do it on Google Earth. You know what I'm saying? You would run, you know, Google Earth has a measurement thing.
Yeah.
You know, so you just run your lines out where you wanna run them, you know, and where you're gonna go. If you're gonna go down every single road, you know, or if you're gonna, because right now, I don't think there's a lot of spigots. There's not spigots everywhere.
Right.
It's pretty limited, you know, in retrospect to the size of the cemetery. I did see on the minutes, you had something about expanding it, I'm assuming to the back lots. You know, so you would be wanting to make it there. We would definitely help out, you know, devise how, you know, maybe you should probably do it in running your, you know, the larger lines that are going to feed the smaller lines. You know, and really, you know, if you just quickly run the whole entire thing, and like I said, on Google Earth, they have you go on Google Earth, go up and
Yeah.
click the ruler.
Yeah.
You utilize it a lot. And just run a line up to here and then down each row, and you could pretty quickly, within 10 minutes, you know, figure out how many feet you're gonna need. you know, and then just figure out if you're gonna be doing a big job out like that, you know, and put that out, the more you buy, usually the cheaper it is, you know,
Okay.
so, but PEX is not overly expensive, you know, it would just be getting it done is the biggest thing, that's
Yeah,
where, yeah, that's where the bigger hurdle is.
So that we can stop everything from going. Just do this.
Yeah,
One of the big
and that's the thing, so I mean, it's gonna take time, just running the ditch witch and running the line in there and then having somebody else, you know what I'm
It
saying?
might take a year to do all this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least,
You could cap ends and then put off the rest of it, you know what I'm saying? It-
Yeah.
Piecemeal, you can, with PEX, you can cap at the end and then just move, and then just leave it.
Use what you put into them.
Yes, then just cut the end where the cap is and then restart wherever you're going.
As we have more discussion about this, then Tim needs to be part of this, because we wanna see if we could use DPW and
Yeah.
everything else on top.
Yeah, and then you're gonna wanna make sure you take ties, like I said, we can help, we're happy to help you with, you know, cause you're gonna wanna take ties where you're gonna put, you know, intersections or
Yeah.
isolation valves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The better thing is every tributary that's going off of that, you should probably put a little isolation valve, whether you bury it or bring it to the top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not that, you know, big of a deal, but the bigger thing is, you know, and then, at that point, once you start getting these lines in, you can blow them out from one location. And then everybody can go out and start at point A and end at point Z, you know, and then you ain't gonna have to worry about all this anymore.
Right.
Yeah, the worst part is the galvanized, we don't send them.
Well, that's the thing, they're so rotting on the outside, but they're probably way worse on the inside. And,
Because it's broke now, it was very little, then they came up, they couldn't find the leak, but now, same place, it just, must have just moved burn.
Yeah.
yeah,
It just came out of the
So
ground.
we can, we can, I can talk to Tim sooner than later, and I can talk to finance to see where we can appropriate the money, but this, ultimately, a project like this would be like the garage, and it would have to go to town meeting. So,
Right.
I mean, it doesn't affect the operations of the cemetery, it's an inconvenience not to have water up there, but it's not, it doesn't affect it,
They've always
so,
made it, so they're gonna want it no
Right.
matter what.
Yeah.
right,
You're no more water,
yeah,
they're not gonna go for that.
yeah.
yeah,
Any questions, Jim?
No,
Fred?
yeah. I
Okay.
think, you know, even if you guys start to work towards it,
Yeah.
I would say, you know, start running your main lines first.
Yeah.
So that
right.
Yeah,
everybody can at least go to a main road
yeah,
and get water, you know,
Yeah.
and then as you get that in,
Then we can go off.
then you can start going off that way.
Just
You know?
just piecemeal it, when you, as you can do it.
But we can still use the old, what's
Right.
working now,
Right.
and you know what I mean?
Then
They're
blow
pretty
out,
good about it.
then blow out the new stuff with a compressor at the end of the season, and then you're good to go.
Well, we do it with this,
Yeah.
the old one too.
Yeah, but the old one can't take that much pressure much longer.
Right, yeah, that's the thing. The biggest thing is, you know, and I believe they're already there, you guys come up, make sure you hang signs that says not for potable use.
Yeah.
When you blow air lines out with a compressor, compressors have, what, no oil?
Yeah,
So you can't blow
right,
potable water out of the compressor. So that's just one of the technicalities, but, you know, and then you could go from there.
well, thank you very much for your time and presentation, and, I know we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah. Anything
Thank you,
guys
John.
can give me a holler.
Thanks,
All right, no
Take
problem.
care, John.
So if we can go back to, doing, accepted the minutes, if you want to take a minute to look them over. Anybody have any questions? Does somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
And any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. You'll sign those. So moving along, under old business, Fave Memorial Bench and Bellevue Cemetery, we had sent a letter asking some specific questions about the deed, about whether we were empowered to alter the deed, the language of the deed. And we got We sent a letter off to Attorney St. John Town Council. He got back to us, and the answer is yes. We are empowered as the commission, and the language is clear under Massachusetts statutes that we can alter the language of the deed to reflect what we need it to reflect. So with that said, I reached out to Michelle, and Michelle will be sending a letter out to the LaFave family saying that they can purchase that parcel and proceed with whatever it is under the terms of what we had said.
Yeah.
So thank you. Tree removal, Bellevue Cemetery, Scott got a bid, and I've been in touch with finance. And we have a bid of $2,750 to take all 3 trees down. And if we take all 3 down, we get a $200 discount. I've talked to finance. There is money available to do that. And because it's town money, we just need to make a motion to accept this bid of $2,750 by Troy's Tree Service for the 3 trees in Bellevue Cemetery that we had discussed at last month's meeting.
Was that the only bid that came in?
So that's the only one that was sought. And we are not in conflict of any bidding rules because if it's under $15,000, we're gonna go, yes.
Okay.
Plus, it's kind of an emergency.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'll make a.
Troy's been good.
I second it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
all those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Okay, and Michelle, if you would get a letter or scrap, but put it in writing, we'll get a letter off to Troy saying they've been awarded the, thank you,
I can call.
thank you.
and he can do that as soon as possible.
Yeah. Very, they are bad.
And so next on the item is the cleaning of the Harrington Mausoleum. That comes out of the Harrington Trust Fund. I've had multiple conversations with Dave New Valley of his cleaning service, Berkshire Monument Cleaning and Power. He has submitted an estimate of a bid of $4,608. He would like to do it sooner than later because he would like nighttime temperatures to be warm. He did send me a photograph of a small 12 by 12 inch by 12 inch of blackened area of the,
What's that there?
and it is incredible, just this little. He
Yeah.
thinks he may have to do 2 cleanings of it.
I looked at it.
Yeah,
I would think so. It's bad.
and but he will do his best. And may have to do it twice, but it would be for the cost of $4,608. And I don't know that we need to,
We have to contact the family or?
we can, but
Right.
we can let them know as a courtesy. I mean, there's no permission needed.
Because we did work up Puckett, I.
Yeah.
Contact, just so I don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
they went up there, so.
Is there- Is there even black still on it?
I don't know.
I think there may be
Very
one because is it the Plunkett where he wanted a male wanted to plant flowers along
Yeah.
the fence line?
That is-
So there's one.
What you're talking about? What are you talking about, Harry?
Yeah, but
Oh,
Harrington.
Harrington, right.
Is there
Yeah,
any-
about Harrington, I don't know,
Yeah.
but we can find out.
But do we need a motion on that?
I don't believe so because it's out of a trust fund
Okay.
versus out of town monies.
That is for the maintenance.
So the next item is a Quaker Meeting House, Maple Street Cemetery grant application. If you remember at the last meeting, Robert Tober had the application in his possession, wanted to pass it on because he's no longer employed by the town. I was willing to accept that application. I passed it on to Joe Novak and to Eugene Mikulenko. And had a conversation with our new community development, Mr. Coughlin. Passed it on to him, so he's aware of it. He has started work on it. Most of it, I think, pertains to the Quaker Meeting House. It is a very competitive grant application process. requires a lot of information. I believe the cemetery part of it is for old stones and the Quaker part of it, not for the general burial, but the latest email, I'm just in on the trail now, but I have no direct interest in it. The Quaker Meeting Houses, he has reached out to someone to get an estimate of work required in the Quaker Meeting House. But I can stay in on that email loop, just as FYIs. But it doesn't directly impact us as the cemetery commission,
Right.
except, so just for the record, we have passed on the application to the appropriate parties, and they have it in their work list. Burlingame Cemetery bounty concern. Michelle got a letter from an abutter to the Burlingame Cemetery up on East Road.
Okay, are we talking where we were?
Yes,
Okay.
so there was a concern raised, what are we doing with what? I think the statement was there were stakes being put in on the boundary line, and so the inquiry was, is that something we were doing? Was it something the abutters were doing? And what were we gonna do about it? We've been down that road before. I just passed it on to the town administrator. And he was going to be in touch with DPW to take a look. What I have noticed is that there is a privacy fence now running between the properties on the north of the cemetery. I have not heard any more. I think it was a butter on the south put up the privacy fence. It's a matter between the two properties and not a matter of the cemetery.
Right,
commission.
but I have a question for you. Is the fence going up on the pathway that they used to use?
If it is, it hasn't been brought to my attention.
Because
There is still a very vague, non-specific right of way
Right,
to access that.
so like the DMZ, it's like,
Yeah,
it's not, it's,
this doesn't impact on that from the road.
okay,
This sits up in the back
yeah,
between the two properties, and I'm not going to
yeah.
Yeah.
Police fire.
touch that again.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So, under anything else under old business? Anybody have anything under new business, review of cemetery fees? So I've been busy calling different, our abutting towns, Williamstown, Cheshire, North Adams, and looked at our fees. I've done a little spreadsheet that I gave you there. It is, oh, yeah. It's missing some information, but it gives us a pretty good idea. And just as a background, Williamstown's was all verbal. I asked for a printout, and he said, we don't have one. When I called the supervisor, he just read off the top of his head, and I was on the phone scribbling. And then when I started doing comparisons, there were some things that didn't show up, but I'm not too worried about that. The lot deed, the cost of perpetual care, I can get those, but I don't think it will impact. The bottom line is, the last time we reviewed our fees, and I don't know if you got this. The last time we reviewed our fees was January of 2015. Costs of everything have gone up in that time frame. We need to make sure we are capturing at least the breaking even and not costing us money for the labor that goes in to interments, work in the cemetery. The cost, and I'll give you an example. In the DPW, a new hire back in 2015 was for operator one or two was $15 an hour. It's now $18 an hour. the cost of living in general, since that time frame nationally, we had one year where it went down, but it's been in the 1% to up to 3% range. We can look at this, have discussion on it, and come back next month,
Can I comment on this?
please.
I think, this is my opinion, that we should, funerals are going mostly cremation today.
Mhm.
The cremation price looks a little low to me, I'm sorry to
Yep.
say that.
No,
I think the cremation should go up. How much you wanna put it up? I got an idea where it should go. Because I think cremations is what's gonna happen from now on down the road. And I think we should be in line with it.
well, so to Jim's point, I agree with the cremation part that they may supersede full interments, but full interments will still be taking place.
Right.
And I think we need to look at it across the board
Right.
and whether we just put for instance,
Well, I'm just on this, I just, that caught my eye. The cremation seems a little low right now.
for instance, I had a conversation with Haley Nesler, town clerk. Deed lot is $40. There is work involved and the deeds stay within the town hall. They do not fall under the registry of deeds.
Right.
But there's still the processing of them. And so if we want to start at the top, if we went up $50
Yeah, that's what I was,
on
500.
everything.
Yeah.
From single, double, and make well, let's do this. Here's my proposal, and we can have discussion on it.
Right.
For residential lots, make that 500.
For single.
Right, and let me back up a little bit. These are recommendations by this board. They would have to be approved by the select board.
Right.
Okay, so I'm saying, let's make single lots $500.
Okay.
Let's make double lots $1,000. Let's make 4 lots $2,000.
Absolutely.
Jim, what do you think about cremains?
Well, I don't know if you're gonna like this, but honestly,
You're talking about the lots or?
the cremation,
Cremains, to buy,
Oh,
I'm gonna start a little high here. I don't know if you're gonna like this, but I'm thinking 400.
okay,
what is it now?
It's only 250. It's really, doesn't pay for a guy.
and that's for a cremains lot.
Right, it doesn't really, for the effort involved.
No, you're talking just the sale of the lot, not the service.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's the sale of the lot.
For the sale of the lot.
What about services?
So we're gonna work our way.
Oh,
Yeah, we're working on that, but
All right.
this is a lot.
Yeah,
This is, I think 400.
what about so let's throw some numbers down here first.
You can go lower.
Then let's go back and look at everything, but let's throw some numbers out there. Fred, do you agree with that? Non-residential, single lot, let's make that $1,000.
Right.
A double lot, let's make that $2,000.
Yeah.
And let's make that $4,000 for 4 lot for non-residential.
Absolutely.
Residential perpetual care, all the costs have gone up. I would like to increase that for a single to 300.
Wait a minute. Okay, 300, but you're on residential,
For
residential.
residential.
Okay, 300, yeah.
For a double, let's make that 1,000.
And what is it for?
Perpetual care,
What is it now?
perpetual,
Or,
It's only
oh, wait a
400.
minute, no, let's make that, it's, for a single lot right now, it's $200. Or,
oh, okay, yeah.
all right, it's for a double lot, it's $400.
Yeah.
Let's make that 600. And for a 4 lot, now let's make that 1,200. And I'm just throwing these numbers out.
Okay, wow, it looks good so far.
Non-residential perpetual care, let's make that
How about 900?
900
Yeah, too many of them.
for a non-residential double lot, let's make that
$2,000.
$2,000, 2,000.
Yeah.
And for a 4 lot, let's make that 4,000.
Right.
I would like to increase the cost of a deed from $40 to $50.
That's a little cheap, isn't it?
Well, throw a number up there. Remember, this is discussion amongst ourselves that we submitted to.
And you know, this is gonna be like this for a bit, a
Yeah.
while.
Because
So we need to move it up to where it's gonna,
Well, why don't we double the deed
double the deed,
to 80?
okay?
Because we're going on from 15, so.
No, we were 40.
Right, so if we double it, we should be good.
this is gonna last a number of years.
Yeah.
So we gotta,
We're going on close to
We're
7
planning
years.
ahead. We're planning ahead.
yeah,
We're close to 7 years since it's been reviewed.
Right.
right, so we gotta plan.
Yeah. So $80 has been proposed on the deed.
Right,
Interment fees, full burial, I would like to jump that up to 500 for weekdays.
Yeah.
Unless somebody
well,
else,
well, wait, a minute. Now, let's get some advice from him, how many guys are on a weekend job, and how much
We're talking
overtime?
about-
weekday,
He's talking about digging it.
Okay.
this is full interment.
Oh, that's for the service.
This is for
Yeah,
$500
So
for
it's
the
at least
weekday.
Yeah, sometimes more. Or two,
And-
we have at least 2 guys.
2 guys. So we gotta figure on the pay scale is gonna be goes up every year.
Well, so what we're doing is we're being reactive, we're reacting reactively to what costs were to what they are
Was it
now.
375?
Yeah, that's kind of,
575,
500 is it?
I think
you
500,
wanna go 5?
yeah.
As long as we're making some progress,
Right.
we're not putting ourselves in. the
And Saturdays is 625, I would like to jump that to 800
Oh, yes, definitely,
for a full internment.
yes.
For cremains on a weekend is 225. I would like to jump that to 350.
Absolutely.
And for Saturdays, I would like to jump that to 400.
Yeah.
For child interments, we're doing 125 and 150.
I think we ought to leave that the same
Yeah.
for a child. They're just not, they don't go that deep
For what?
Is the standard of depth the same as a child?
Usually,
Yeah,
So, you know
So the
what,
holes
we can go a little bit,
Yeah,
okay,
so I think we need to go up.
yeah, we need to go
How
up,
about
but
200
200
and
and 250.
250?
okay,
You know what I mean, Fred, we're being.
yeah.
because there are vaults involved.
I was just thinking, you know, somebody needs to.
Well, I'd say, yeah, right.
It's the emotional piece.
Yeah,
Right.
So the child under a certain age,
Well, it's not,
It's never been brought up.
it's,
I don't know.
it's,
That's okay.
it's me.
it's the size of the coffin.
It's
A
the size.
child, it's not gonna be a full casket or coffin.
Okay, so it's the size that would,
It's, I've seen some,
You know, it's probably 12 and under. right?
yeah. It's open in the hornet's nest, really.
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's just play it by ear.
And winter ground thaw propane is up from that year and it's high right now, 200 for propane for a thaw. What do you think?
What is it, 150?
Yeah, that's propane's gonna be it's go.
And-
I go to.
And with other towns, it's been, and again, Williamstown goes back to, he doesn't know when it was last reviewed. North Adams was last reviewed in January of 2015. So,
I go 250.
and I will tell you, the municipality rates
Yeah.
are far less expensive than private cemeteries, and I believe Pittsfield falls under private fees.
Right.
That's gonna be a winter charge, no matter if we use propane or not. Because we have snow removal, so
Okay.
that's why it's called a winter
Yeah.
charge.
Okay, well, it's called winter ground thaw.
No, they changed that.
So winter, you wanna call it, we'll change the name to winter
Yeah,
charge.
should say that.
And so winter charge includes snow removal, thawing the
Because
ground,
Clear,
there's been time,
clear,
winter clearance.
clear thought.
it's just winter.
Not in the winter, you get a clearance.
There's been times if we have a lot of snow, we don't need the heater because the frost is.
Right.
Yeah,
But
But we still have a lot of
but
work
there's,
to do.
yeah,
To clear the section.
it's labor intensive than we're up there in the winter.
$50 increase.
I was thinking 250.
Wow, that's kinda high.
Well,
Oh,
it's a lot, if they get a real cold week and they have to have that heater on there,
What's your feeling, Scott?
I'll go 200.
200.
yeah,
Let's go 200.
Sure.
Now let's change it to, winter,
I think it's on the new charge sheet, isn't it?
winter charge,
Yeah.
just winter charge,
I think it's
Winter
or
on-
winter fee,
Winter fee.
winter fee.
That fell from December 1 to April 1. Liz?
Yeah,
Yeah, because we also have guidelines that say no cremains in the winter. But we have a specific date, but if we have a January where the ground's soft, they can put cremains.
no, we're
in. So,
not, we don't do it.
no, even
You
so,
have-
okay, so the dates are rigid. Okay, so we'll keep the dates.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
I think we've modernized quite well into the future now for.
so I will type this up with a present cost and what we would like to see and submit it to the select board
Yeah,
for their approval.
right. This has been a long time.
So do you want to go down this one more time?
No, I.
Or are you
I'm
good with it?
fine with it. I wrote it down.
Okay,
Did you wanna
um,
revisit the cremation?
so I would like to present this to the select board and I think we need a motion.
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
And it is done. I will take care of that. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, but we're still on, we're still on this. Wait,
You got them.
I know.
I didn't.
I'll tell there's a story.
Bruce, you're still on this one.
Yeah, yeah. So as far as language, our language is pretty good on under cemetery fees and stuff.
Right.
I need to look, Michelle found we had a question about veterans, and I don't have my iPad.
The
with me.
veterans burials,
So, somebody inquired, they're a resident, they live out of town, they wanted to know if it was true that there was free veteran spots, and the answer is yes, but it is the lot, it is not services.
Right.
Interment costs money, the stone costs money,
is there,
It's not the
is
snow.
this for Adams residents?
this is for Adams residents.
Right.
They have to pay for.
Yeah, they have to pay for funeral costs,
Right.
they are getting the lot
They're just
free.
getting a lot for free.
Right,
And there's only, and their wives, just for them.
that's correct,
No wives,
no,
relatives, right?
that's correct.
Right.
So I just need to look at the regs and we can bring that up next month to see if it's addressed, but they do need a birth certificate that indicates they were born in Adams and they need a DD 214
Right.
stating that they are veterans.
Now I got a question for you. Has this ever popped on us where somebody just requested for their remains to be put on top of their husband? Has that ever happened to us yet? Okay. I'm wondering if we need to visit that someday to make sure that.
Well,
Right, well,
we can bring that up at a future meeting
right.
I don't know.
because that's not a big deal to me.
No, it is.
No, but I see it coming eventually someday.
Then we'll.
Yeah, like
put it on
you're-
the future
It's not
agenda.
a full burial on
No.
top of next.
Yeah,
to-
like-
We're going down 18 to 24
Right,
hours.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we can have that discussion.
yeah.
Right.
So you're gonna go with these.
So let me review for, well,
Cemetery fees.
Yeah. So need for expansion of Bellevue Cemetery. There was an individual came into the town. We have plenty of room right now, unused. I know Jim brought this up 2 years ago, before the pandemic,
Right,
about is there a need to expand and the way to find that out is to I guess, do a little research. And in the winter, I am willing to come up and spend time in the office looking at how big the cemetery is, how many lots are in the existing cemetery, how many are utilized already, and what is the rate that they are filling up per year, and then we could make some judgment. This would be a select board because the town would be buying land
Right.
if it was available, and put it in their hands. Just present them, here's what we have, here's how fast, here's what's left, here's how fast it's filling, et cetera. And what trends are out there for
Right.
cremation versus full
Now we're
interment.
gonna need a cremation section.
Well,
That's one.
That's what we,
and that's another part of the whole discussion.
that's Old Polish probably.
So-
You
It's
can't
all,
bury-
it's all blended.
Yeah, you can't, so might as well do all on top with the
Yeah.
foul burial.
There's,
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay, so I'd like to bring something up.
yes. Is this on this matter?
Yes,
Okay.
technically.
Yep, okay.
I would like to put a motion through to increase the cremations to 6 on each plot,
Um,
Be a full grade.
on a full grade,
Yeah,
because on her cards in there, she can have a grid pattern. And that way we can know where all the cremations are going.
but we're,
So
Is a cremation,
presently,
we only do
the prep
4.
we're doing 4. Most towns are doing 3.
3.
They are doing head, center, and foot of the existing, on each existing lot.
Right, a lot of wasted room.
So that will get into the question of if you expand it, how do you identify if everybody wants? Well, how do you identify who's interred where if that's what the family wants? Because most stones now are fitting a 30-inch wide that'll have the family name, and on the back, it will have John, father, Marilyn, mother.
So I know in a new section, there's a stone, there must be 8 people, because they all want to be, I don't know, if it's 8, or
Right.
6.
So how do you identify them? That will get into the question of, I think the answer is you can put in a flat level like veterans
Right.
marker.
And make the small grass plots.
Okay, and how far into that lot do you expand? And will that interfere with maintenance of the lot?
I don't see that happening.
Because if there cremains and there's let's just, in theory, let's say casket is 6 feet in the ground.
Mhm.
That means that the top of the vault is probably 3.5 feet.
Right,
And you have to pour, even with the bronze, you still have to have a foundation.
They have to put it where the remains are.
right.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
but for people that don't want to put in those a foundation or a flat marker,
they want
and they have room on the stone, they should
That's
be,
correct.
they should not be exempt. I mean, they should not be, they should be able to have their
that's
family
what
put
kind
on
of
there.
stone it is.
Okay,
That should be a
can
flat.
I make a suggestion?
Sure,
Let's table this to the next meeting.
right,
In the interim, come up, do your sketches, do your thoughts, put them in writing, and have more discussion on it.
right.
And I will put it on the agenda for next meeting. And it would be increased cremains.
The problem is we have to have, people that buy a lot have to have like a plan. Who's gonna go in there, but it never happens that way, because somebody might die in the family, I wanna put him in there, you know what I mean?
How far down do they go when someone is cremated?
Not that,
18
yeah,
to
a
24.
couple feet,
Inches.
yeah, a couple,
Yeah,
like 2 feet.
That's,
There's times,
to me, you could put a lot of cremains, even if somebody had a single lot.
it depends, if they got vaults too, there's urn vaults that are kind of big.
And what about the people that don't put full burials in?
They're like
On their
24 by 24 or
I
20,
mean,
you
that,
know what I mean?
that's
Well,
just,
that's true.
that's just not cutting it with just 3 cremations.
Okay, so again, let's
How
have,
many are in the cremation lot? 2? They're small, or is it 3?
I don't,
let's look at what our existing language is.
yeah,
Let's do some, I know John Juby has some thoughts about it.
yeah, I heard.
Let's query the other towns, and the information I got from the towns I got numbers from was that they do 3 per lot, they do head, middle, and foot. Doesn't mean that has to be the standard, but the other thing you take into consideration, if you want a marker, how is that going to impact putting 6 on?
Right, but see, then you have to, we should keep that like open in the sense that if somebody decides they don't, they have a place to go if they don't want to put markers, then they can fit 2 extra cremations.
So let's do our homework,
Right.
and let's come back at our next meeting, and that'll be on the
You know,
agenda.
put them on the stone
Under
set
new
names.
business.
Because like I got a big stone, I could put 18 names and 18 deaths on it, for example. But that's not gonna happen anyways, because I got 4 full burial plots, for example.
I hate to be buying the lots right now, I got 16.
Well, Freddie, you've always been looking ahead, though. When you die, Freddie, that's money in your pocket.
20 years ago. 25.
Michelle will sell the extra lot. Michelle will sell the extra lots for you.
Remember,
Also in the lot next year.
Yeah.
I said, no.
That's fair.
it's like George Burns dying. George Burns says, I died 100 times. I died in Cincinnati. I died in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
He had a good life, 100 years old, he still smoked cigars.
So need for expansion, we will table that. We'll do some research and look down the road on that and bring it back up. We will table for now, and do some homework on, expanding the number of cremains per lot. And look at the issues of, footmark, level ground markers and how that might interfere or not interfere with maintenance, et cetera.
Like exceptions and,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
I know that we don't want to leave too many possibilities where it gets out of control. But yeah, let's take a look and talk about it,
Okay.
and our thoughts.
When you want to have your meeting,
Well-
Mr. Chairman.
I know of nothing pressing right now for us. Again, this issue isn't something we need to act on right away. I would say let's look at maybe October with a to be determined.
Right.
And if there's
But in the,
If there's an emergency.
Right.
you can call.
I've been, Michelle has been great about bringing issues to me that don't require the board. Scott, you called me on an issue and I had a talk with that gentleman.
Oh, they expect what?
It went very well. It was a case of he wanted stone over, or the foundation
Bigger,
bigger but when I said, here's what we do, here's why, he was just wonderfully receptive to the callback and that, information. There's been some issues with people turning lots into shrines with fences, and we try to deal with that the best we can. We've sent a couple of letters. We had one request to not do maintenance of theirs because they wanted to do it. We said that. And then we just cite rules and regulations and the rationale. So,
Are they gonna be alive forever?
so anything for the good of the order. Fred, anything you'd like to bring up? Jim?
No, we covered just.
no,
Okay, with that said, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Before you do that.
Yes.
You want to pick the date,
We left it October?
yeah,
We didn't get, want to get back to us on it if you don't?
Do you want to do that? Or
Because
do
you
you
got,
need do you need a date right now?
no,
Then let's,
yeah.
let's,
we're all
let's
flexible.
look, yeah. sometime in October. And if there's nothing between now and, the first of October, there may not be a need for a meeting right away.
Right. We're fine.
Whatever.
So with that said, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Scott. Thank you, Michelle.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for helping.
Adjourn, make a motion to
I'll
adjourn,
make a motion, we adjourn.
and that's 2:52 adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Captain.
And I'll do some footwork on at least getting information on finance.